Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane, up close and personal. 2 years ago, I reported about a horrendous terror attack, about a horrendous rape, about a young Bedouin teenagers. There were 3 of them, and they had been doing several robberies in Jewish neighborhoods down in the Negev. And one Friday evening, after this Jewish family had finished their Shabbat and they had went to bed, these Arab teenagers broke into the house. One was waiting outside in the car and 2 others broke into the house. And they entered a room where a 10-year-old girl was sleeping, and her younger brothers was also sleeping in the room. And one of them raped this 10-year-old girl. 10-year-old girl. Of course, this girl is crying and she's screaming out, and these terrorist and pedophile rapist fled the house. Of course, the parents are waking up, and luckily they were arrested. This pedophile and rapist was taken to a youth center and was receiving treatments, but during the court appearance he never apologized and he always laughed. A couple of days ago, he received his sentence, which was 5 years, only 5 years in prison. And again, in the court, he was just laughing. All of Israel is up in arms and is outraged about this lenient, this light sentence. And he even admitted, saying that he would never have done that to a Muslim girl. She was raped for being Jewish. Absolutely, absolutely horrendous. Yesterday, a Palestinian terrorist went on a rampage. He murdered 3 people, 11 children. Got a phone call, got notice yesterday that they had to bury their beloved father because he was murdered in a terror attack by this Palestinian terrorist. This happened around the city of Ariel in Samaria. First, he stabbed a security guard in the industrial area. Then he went on to a gas station where he stabbed several people. I didn't share it, but there was a video where you can see he actually went up to a man with his back turned to this terrorist, and he just stabbed him violently in the neck. He fled that scene. He stole a car and he fled that scene into a highway, and he collided with vehicles. He got out of the vehicle, he stabbed more people, he got back into the car and he drove off, crashed into more cars, and he created a major traffic jam, and cars were ramming into each other, and he killed another person there. So in total, before this terrorist was killed yesterday, he managed to murder 3 Jewish fathers, and several people were injured. Another heinous terror attack here in Israel. I was so broken yesterday I couldn't even talk about it. Some of you saw the video I recorded about how I went out and ended up with a finger looking like this, barely avoiding surgery, but they was treating this finger that was so infected. And this terror attack took place while I was in Jerusalem dealing with all of this, and I was just so broken because the world is silent, nobody cares, but again, this nation is ripped to pieces. Families are torn apart, hearts are broken, souls are crushed, because another Palestinian terrorist went out to just murder Jewish people. And what did we see again? In the Arab cities, candies are being handed out. They are celebrating because another innocent civilian, another Jew, was murdered for no other reason than being Jewish. If you follow me, you know how many terror attacks I have been reporting about. How many terror attacks. Every day they come up on my feed on Facebook. Another terror attack, another terror attack, another funeral. Another Jewish mother have to bury a child or burying her husband. And again, 3 was murdered yesterday only for being Jewish. As Jerusalem Jane, I'm sending my deepest condolences to the families of these victims who were brutally murdered yesterday. May their memories forever be a blessing. One of them was a father of 6 children. Another one, 2 children. One of them only made Aliyah here to Israel I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, a Zionism brought him back to Israel, and now he was savagely murdered by this terrorist. And again, he's being glorified as a martyr who went out and murdered Jewish people, and the whole world is just silent. I saw the U.S. administration was condemning the killing in the violence and the killings in Judea and Samaria, equalizing the horrendous murder of Jewish people in terror attacks to when the IDF is going out to arrest terrorists, and they are being met, especially in the area around Jenin, with full armed terrorists attacking our troops. It is absolutely horrendous. You have to remember, many of these terrorists, if they survive these terror attacks, they go to Israeli prison. Thank goodness the one yesterday was killed. But if they do, they go to prison, they get a degree, they got 3 good meals a day, and then they're being paid by donor country, which is mostly European countries, who is sending money down to Abu Mazen, terrorist in a suit, and then he's paying these terrorists to murder Jews. Or in this case, the terrorist was killed, so now his family is being taken care of. They are being paid by Abu Mazen, who is paying $500 million a year to terrorists and their families for murdering Jewish people. You wonder why Israel got a new right-wing government? Because they are saying enough is enough. Jewish blood is not cheap. Jewish 10-year-old girl who is savagely being raped in her bed, in what was supposed to be the safety on her own home, are saying enough is enough. We are choosing a right-wing government who's going to protect us, in our own country. And yet the world is up in arms about some of these politicians because they're saying we are going to protect our people. Are you serious? So yes, 3 funerals. One happened yesterday, 2 funerals today, and 11 children has to bury their father, who was just out and about doing his job, doing his business, doing errands, and he was savagely stabbed to death because they have to liberate Palestine. It's not about land. It's about a sick, demonic hate towards the Jewish people. And the lies, the fabrication of truth about Israel is occupying their nation. So just go murder them wherever you find them. And then you are financially being supported by European donor country, by the American governments, by UNRWA, who is being flooded by hundreds of millions of dollars, who is using school books, teaching their children that the Jews stole your land. How to go and murder the Jews. Completely fabrication of history. So again and again and again and again, Jewish mothers have to bury their husband murdered for no other reason than being Jews, living in what's supposed to be the safety of their own home country, but they're still being targeted only for being Jewish. Please share this video out. If you watch me on Facebook, I am severely limited. Many of you don't even see my videos. I can only encourage you to follow my YouTube channel, Jerusalem Jane, to follow my new Telegram channel, also Jerusalem Jane. I'm sharing a lot of things on Telegram that don't go out on my social media. So if you don't want to miss any updates for Israel, please go follow my Telegram, Instagram, YouTube. Thank you for those of you who saw the video I recorded yesterday speaking about how I went to the city and I ended up with a finger looking like this. I read your comments, most of them, and I truly, truly appreciate it. May God comfort all the people, the families of the people who were brutally murdered yesterday in another heinous terror attacks which took place in several locations in the area around the big city of Ariel in Samaria. God bless you, and thank you for standing with Israel for such a time as this, and thank you for standing with me for such a time as this. Bye.